People of the world, welcome back to Send It Rising, as I've mentioned on the show before, and you've heard me say many times, I do not believe in coincidences. I think that our experience on this planet follows some sort of gravitational pull. It sounds like poetry. I wish I could make it sound more scientific, but the folks that we find in our lives were pulled into their gravity, and it seems random, but it's only random from our perspective. We see it as random, and yet I do not believe there's randomness. As I have said before, we had a random number generator guest on our show in the past, and he said that it's very difficult to create randomness because even what we perceive as random is actually not. And so you have to add things like moisture into the machine that creates the random numbers. It's all very interesting stuff to me. And so as you move throughout your life and you interact with people, this is your reminder that although it may seem chaotic and random, it is not. So pay attention. Our guest today on the show, he's an incredible marketer. Have you ever heard of Reputation.com? VP of marketing position. You know how hard that is to get a VP of marketing position? You have to be very smart. You have to be dedicated. You have to be talented. You have to say the truth. You have to listen. The fact that she got an MBA is not something that she would say, perhaps, is like a huge sort of piece of her puzzle. But for outsiders like me who don't have an MBA, we think, ooh, MBA. That's cool. Good for you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, the incredible, the one, the only, Laura Nelson.
Thanks for having me, Colin. Good to be here.
The crowd goes wild, Laura.
Quite an intro.
So, what do we do to marry work happiness with life happiness? How do you do it, Laura?
That is a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly battle. I think that all of us are trying to manage right now, especially with all of the chaos in the world, right? I think for me, it is a matter of being deliberate about my time professionally, drawing a line between the time I have to allocate to my job to the time I need to spend on my personal endeavors or resting and relaxing to make sure that I'm recharged for the things that I want to do. And certainly, that type of prioritization plays an important role.
For sure. Signpost. I don't understand what Signpost is. My listeners probably don't understand what Signpost is. Sell us all on why we should buy Signpost right now.
That's okay. We get a lot of people who come to our company who are looking for literal posts for their signs. Maybe they're realtors or roofers or something like that, where they need to make actual yard signs. But that's not what we do. We work with local business owners and entrepreneurs to help improve their business operations. The company has been around for over 10 years and in the past has been known as what is called a reputation management company. So, Reputation.com is another example that helps businesses interact with their customers, get feedback on Google, Yelp, Facebook, etc. Make sure they're showing up online, make sure that great feedback gets shared online. We still do that today. That's an important component of our product. But since then, we've expanded our feature set. We help businesses communicate with their customers. As you probably know and experience in your own life as a consumer, you want options. You don't want to call three plumbers when something goes wrong. If you're looking for a roof replacement or repair, you don't want to get bogged down in three lengthy phone calls. You want to do your research, you want to read reviews, you want to get in touch with someone quickly or at your own time, evenings, weekends, etc., through your own channels like web chat, text communication, Facebook Messenger, Google Messenger, etc. So what our platform does for businesses is bring those channels into one place, makes it easy for a business to improve that customer experience, not only from the first touch point, but throughout the journey of working with the customer.
Okay. let's assume for a second that we're all one consciousness. Just suppose that we're all one consciousness and that
Mhm.
someone else's anger and resentment over here is interconnected with my life in some way, shape, or form, right? And so we're looking to alleviate suffering. And through web chat, I have had a lot of alleviated suffering because, for example, the IRS owes me, what is this? That's almost 4,000, and that's at least so at least $6,000.
Uh-huh.
Okay. If the IRS had web chat, I would have my $6,000.
Mhm.
I literally have a document that after you press 1, 2, 3, 2, those are the first three prompts, then you
Uh-huh.
wait. Do not enter your social security number. You have to wait now because if you enter it, then it won't work. Then new prompts show up. You hit 1, 2 again, and then it rings a couple times, and then they tell you to try again. Call back some other time.
Wow.
And I've done this no less than 5 times to try to get my $6,000 because I moved a couple times. God
Mhm.
forbid. That was my sin. My
Yes.
sin was I am no longer in the location that you thought I was in, therefore, and the rest of this sort of transpires. So
Mhm.
that is so much aggravation, so much suffering, and to me, it's needless. And so if they simply had one more option, now they would be blown up. And I know being in the IRS is not easy. And my heart goes out to the folks that work there. And I get it. I understand. But that being said, in the future, in a better system, this wouldn't be a problem.
Correct. The IRS has some modernization to undergo. And, it's interesting. You're actually the second person in 2 days to tell me that they have a problem with the IRS. Shocker, I know. Underpayment of refund or lack of payment altogether, it sounds like. And, the pain of that experience is, what's holding you back from getting what you need, right? I can make a similar parallel to Comcast, a company many of us deal with, or a similar service, like we get internet or cable through someone, right? And in my case, it happens to be Comcast, where I'm sitting right now. And I will not pick up the phone and call them because they offer this option of web chat, which is tremendous because we've got the conversation documented, which I like. It's easy to see and understand. Sometimes it can be difficult to hear what someone's saying or to create proof of that. Additionally, it's something I can do when I'm multitasking. I know it's not going to completely pull my attention away when I'm busy during the day doing other things. And web chat specifically has that benefit. And that's what people really like and derive satisfaction from when using a tool like that. It's not just for big companies, though. Like local businesses can adopt these tools that people have been accustomed to using with large organizations to make that experience better and ultimately win new business.
I just spoke to someone. I'm actually opening myself up to cold emails more than I
Mhm.
ever have in my experience. I tend to be very judgmental when I see them. I think, ugh, waste of time. I have a flurry. I if I spend any time at all thinking about them, it's not a positive thought that's running through my head.
Mhm.
And one of the gentlemen that I said, okay, let's give him a shot, is bringing me some leads now, personal injury attorney leads. So that was exciting. And then the second person never circled back, which is unfortunate because they were offering a service that does, I don't know if it's similar to what you do. Tell me if this is similar or different. They
Sure.
were offering someone to monitor our web chat that they would install via WordPress onto the website. And based on getting, I want to say, an email or something, they would charge some really small percent, some small fee, or for
Mhm.
like booking an appointment or whatever. So it was like per acquisition, if that
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah. Yeah, that's actually something we do as well. Something I didn't mention is that we also have a side of the business called under the umbrella of what we call managed services, where we have live receptionists who can answer your phone nights, weekends, and monitor web chat, which I think is important. Not everyone has time for that. I would say what's different is our pricing model. We're just a flat fee subscription, whereas it sounds like you're paying for appointment, which is an interesting model. We work with a lot of lawyers, a lot of personal injury lawyers who, for whom speed is everything. So, if somebody commits to an appointment with you, they're not going to move on to the next three names on the list. They're going to be happy about moving forward with their case, right? So that's why those tools are so important.
Does Signpost currently have an ad agency arm to the business?
Yeah, we can do or we can create and execute campaigns on Google Ads, Facebook, et cetera, on behalf of our clients. It's not something that is like our bread and butter. It's something that we have over the years gotten asked about. So it is something we did stand up and we offer as a supplement to the software and managed services that we provide.
And blogging as well?
Not no blogging.
Well, now you do.
That's
So
really difficult to do on the local level for different types of businesses. Agencies can do a fantastic job of that for local businesses of all types. It's just not a service that we offer.
sure. So zombie pages were the bane of my SEO experience for a couple of years because the previous strategy was just crank out tons of content. And
Hmm.
so the typical program would be 8 blogs a month, call it like 900, $1,000 a month, and 300 words, probably 350. And Google eventually, because what we essentially did was just filled the internet with pages nobody was looking at.
Yeah,
And Google's going, you do realize we have to index this, right? Like we have to go through all of this and nobody's looking at it.
yeah.
Please stop was sort of the idea because backlinking and content creation and Google's mantra has always been quality, high quality this, just create high quality. And from the marketer's perspective, it's like, yeah, but you're rewarding me for creating more.
Hmm.
So what do you want? So anyway, eventually, and it's almost like parenting in a way, or owning a business or anything. Um, eventually, you realize that you have to punish them. You have to do time. You have to because all the positive reinforcement in the world is not working. You have to be like, okay, no, timeout. And so Google eventually said, timeout. If you do this crap anymore, if you continue to create these zombie pages, we're gonna hurt you, right? We're gonna drop your rankings. It is what it is. And so we started doing like 1,000-word blogs, if that makes sense. So it
Hmm.
all became long form content land, and then schema markup and a bunch of other things. So long form blog content is the way for local businesses if they want to, at least from a content production perspective for ranking.
I agree. I mean, it takes time and investment, though. We hear from a lot of local businesses, they want a quick fix, and SEO investments, long form blog content is very valuable, but you have to give it time. It is a garden you have to continue to nurture and grow over the seasons. And so, like, it's never too early to start, but do not expect immediate results. Like, this has to grow over time.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I feel like at the end of the day, we all eventually become Zen poets in our philosophies. We're just planting seeds. The number of times I tell my staff, just planting seeds. That's all I'm doing over here is planting seeds because they're the only thing that grow into food at the end of the day. So I feel like my position is largely that is just
Mhm.
thinking about the future and envisioning what the future could look like in 3 months from now, 6 months from now, and then of course the fire of the day will occur, and then I will do whatever I
Yes.
need to put out the fire of the day. So what's your experience? Do you feel like you spend a lot of time thinking about, oh, a year from now, if we do this, and that, we'll achieve this sort of goal and we'll end up here? And how much of it is, oh, I need to solve that problem now?
Both happen in the same day every day, and that's why there's never a dull moment. And I definitely identify with what you're saying. I'm not the CEO of the business, but I am the functional leader of the marketing team and all of our priorities. And as a member of the exec team, we are talking about the future. We are talking about those long-term bets. We are envisioning what 2023 looks like and have been for some time. But I also have a team working for and with me on the day to day. And certainly those fires come up. That guidance is needed. What's most important? I am the coach of the team to ensure everyone's got their eye on the highest priority things that are going to make the biggest impact for our business, this week, this month.
Yeah. So you are a philosopher. Um, I think the title of VP to me is very interesting. Based on the size of the company, that can be a huge role. Sometimes VP is sort of, in my mind, I'll put it to you this way. I talk to a lot of small business owners where
Mhm.
your title doesn't matter, not really. And when people ask me for my title, I get, sort of insecure about it because if I say owner, okay, fine. Owner of what? Right. And then if I say president, can you be a president of a small company? So we do less than 1 million in revenue, right? So
Mhm.
it's sort of like, I feel like there are small companies, there are micro companies, solopreneurs, and this sort of thing. So president used to mean something, I think is the point I'm trying to make. Like the president of McDonald's is just 0.0000001 percenter. You know what I mean? Whereas the
Yeah.
president of the local, I don't know, like CPA firm or this, that, or the other might be something completely different. So let's talk a little bit about that. When you identify, because that's how you put yourself into the world, whether you like it or not, it's just your position. What are your thoughts on that VP of marketing?
Yeah, I think it's more a matter of how people perceive me. Like I don't lead with my job title. I don't identify solely with my job. It's something that I do among a lot of other things. And I think you're right. Like it means different things in the context. My company's 200 people, so it means I lead the marketing initiatives for the company. But because I have a team, I have a lot of support, and it simply means that I'm the figurehead or the one helping to chart the course in terms of that. But I wouldn't discount titles and their importance for smaller companies, right? Because I have a lot of respect for entrepreneurs who are willing to take risks, go out and found their own companies, become the owners and presidents. To me, that signals that they are the sole or the end decision makers. The buck stops with you, right? I haven't gone out and founded my own company. My parents did. They took a risk years and years ago and founded a publication where I grew up. And there were a lot of higher stakes in doing that than in what I am doing, which is joining companies, right? Yes, they're early stage. Yes, they have high expectations for growth and all of that. But to me, there's a lot of significance in being an owner or president, an entrepreneur for a small organization.
I appreciate you saying that because it's one of those things where you ever see those illusions where you look at it and it's like a black hole on a sidewalk, and then you see the person like walk around it, and then it becomes clear that it's like a chalk drawing.
Yeah, yeah, I love those.
That's what we experience, and as people is wherever our perception happens to be, it will always be bound in some illusion somewhere. There's gonna
Hmm.
be some, and it's just the nature of our perception, and then we have to figure out what's an illusion and what isn't.
Hmm.
And the way we perceive it, impacts, how we behave. And so I appreciate you saying that because that helps me sort of like tilt my perception a little bit this way and see it from your perspective where it looks much
Yeah, like
different.
you're responsible for the livelihoods of the people who work for you too. I have some of that responsibility, but not to the level that you do, right? Like that risk for my team is spread across the organization in a different way than it is for you, right? So the more of the burden is on you, as the owner, right?
Sure. Yeah, good point. See, I feel like I feel flattered. If that makes any sense. Like, because I never tell myself that. Does that make sense? Like, I'm never
Yeah,
just like, I might say it in passing, but I don't really feel like it because from my perspective, they are maintaining their own livelihoods through the work that they're doing. Does that make
absolutely.
sense? It's like they're the ones doing it. They're doing the work, they're busting it out, they're putting in the hours, they're doing all of that. It's not me.
Yeah, but think about anytime you join an organization, and certainly when your team members joined at any given time, they're taking a leap of faith that, like, this is going to be good for them. This is an environment where they can thrive, where they can earn a living, put food on the table for their family, save for retirement, whatever the case may be, probably all those things.
Mhm.
So, like, they had the faith in you that, like, you are a healthy business, that you are going to pay them fairly, that you're going to be around for a while to provide them with that opportunity too.
You make a great point. I think I'm really proud of you for taking the initiative to be a guest on shows. I feel like the vast majority of the folks I've talked to tend to either be the owner of a small company, but it's less frequent that you have
Mhm.
like a VP of marketing for a larger company come on to a show like this because you don't necessarily have to. But in my experience, being on podcasts pays all sorts of strange and unforeseen dividends, if that makes any sense.
Absolutely. Like, this is part of our marketing strategy. We have to lead with our people. We sell software, right? And some services that you can't touch and experience in real life. And yet we are backed by 200 people. And we work with thousands of local entrepreneurs who see success from our product and services. So, how do we get the word out? It is by telling our story, getting our people in front of audiences. I personally enjoy it. So, that's another thing that I take away. I get to meet people who I wouldn't otherwise meet, like you, and learn something every day through it. And the investment's not that great, right? We're spending 30 or 40 minutes today. That's a drop in the bucket when you think about, where you can spend your time and where it could potentially be beneficial.
Yeah, and I personally really enjoy the live format because I want the risk. Because in
Mhm.
my experience, it creates an environment, a chemical environment in the brain, you could say, that is similar to like an athlete, if that makes sense. It's risky to play basketball. You might lose, right? But the best of the best of the best in those atmospheres, you get really used to it because I'm very used to it. Obviously, I'm on episode 400 and something. Who knows what?
Wow. That's
Um,
impressive.
Thank you. Yeah, it's just it's I don't know. It's cool. I like the people give stress a bad name. I'll put it to you that way. There is such a thing as good stress.
I agree. I actually perform better when I have some kind of constraint, resources, time, whatever. If there's an open calendar, an unlimited budget, that it's less of a motivator than, say, like, I've got to get this done by Monday, or like, I have two of the four things I want resource wise to finish a project. To me, that makes things more exciting. And that's where innovation comes from.
I think that's why mortality is baked into this particular experience is because there is no better motivator than the time's ticking, right? You're only going to have your 20s. 20s gone. Now what? Now you're in your 30s. Do you want to do what you did in your 20s? So now we're in our 40s. What do you want to do? You know what I mean? What a motivator. And it's so funny that our general reaction to death and all that sort of thing is fear, which makes sense because you want to continue to live and all that. But death does not get enough respect for how
Mhm.
motivating it is to go do something with the time you have.
Absolutely. And when you see someone close to you not, live a long life, for example, my dad died relatively young, 63, right on the edge of retirement. And to see him work so hard and not enjoy the time off that, he had planned and experience his grandkids, things like that. To me personally, that's been a real motivator to make sure I don't wait to have certain experiences or to take the time to do things that are important to me.
Oh, I love that. And this notion of your father listening to this conversation is scientifically real in that your experience with him is measurable in your own mind.
Hmm.
It's not some sort of like esoteric, oh, the spirit of him and does the soul exist? And like you can put all of that, we can have that conversation too. But insofar as the memory of him exists, then always present he is.
Well, it's an interesting way to think about it, but I suppose that is true, because if not, I wouldn't have evoked that thought right now, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then by extension, I also am in that bubble of his consciousness, which extended through time.
Hmm.
This is the Obi-Wan moment. This is when Darth Vader is fighting Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Obi-Wan looks over to Luke Skywalker. You already know what I'm going to say. And he looks at him, he gives up, and he lets Darth Vader kill him. And then George Lucas's choice, I assume is his choice, to just have the robes fall onto the ground as opposed to some dead body sitting there is
Hmm.
symbolic of I was always nothing anyway. I
Hmm.
was always dust anyway. So what does it matter? And then the memory transcends and it impacts choices, and then those choices impact the future. So even if you don't believe in an eternal soul, and again we can have that conversation, the echoes of our actions, they have eternal ramifications,
Yeah, absolutely.
right?
I don't know where to take it from there, Cullen, but I'm tracking.
You're what?
I'm tracking what you're saying.
Okay, good. So one of the reasons the show is called Send It Rising is we tend to go to these sort of interesting philosophical points. 1057, I want to make sure the folks know how to reach you. If they've enjoyed hearing your voice on the show, how might they touch base with you, Laura?
Sure. Best probably is through email. lnelson@signpost is the best way. If you want to learn more about the company, of course, signpost.com. That's easy to remember.
Beautiful. So L Nelson, that would be L, N as in Nancy, E as in elephant, L as in Larry, S as in Sam, O as in orange, N as in Nancy at signpost.com, signpost.com.
You got it.
Where folks can get a chance to chat with you. Folks listening, you all know the drill. YouTube.com/send it rising. If you want to see me barefoot longboarding and delivering social media news, that would be at Send It Rising on TikTok, tiktok.com. We are currently doing reels everywhere. Let's see if I can mention them. Business ideas. You're familiar with reels over there? We're doing those. LinkedIn, personal and business, YouTube Shorts, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, business and personal, and Twitter, business and personal. I think that's 9 places where we're posting reels. If you're currently not doing that, maybe consider it. Just saying. And if you don't have a lapel mic for your TikToks, I should call them short form videos. If you don't have a lapel mic, it's $10 on Amazon. Invest in yourself. Get yourself a lapel mic. It adds bass to your voice, so you sound better. Yeah, Laura, it's been a pleasure having you on the show. Any final words of wisdom for the listeners?
Thank you, Cullen. Actually, lapel mic is a great idea.
All right. Thanks for swinging by the show, everybody. We'll see y'all next time. Bye for now.